Welcome back to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Kerry Stevenson. Today I've asked Peter Duerden. He's the Managing Director of Waratah Minerals. ASX code is WTM. Now, spoke to Peter a year ago. So they've been busy drilling out in their Spur Project, which is in New South Wales, in the Lachlan Fold Belt. Most importantly, and I'm going to get Peter to explain some of this, and just off camera, I was saying to him, not everyone understands geospeak, so we're going to just unpack some of this. But it's Monday, the 24th of March, and they've just made an announcement on their latest drilling. Importantly, it is only 5 kilometers west, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, of Newmont's Cadia Valley project. So I'm going to ask him some questions about the Nearology and what's going on there, but it's pretty exciting times. Peter has always been confident that there is a big discovery to be made here. This announcement today validates what he was talking about. So, Peter, welcome back. You've been gone so long, my friend.
Thanks, Kerry. Always good to be with you.
Well, this announcement today, which talks about your drill program, I think it was the RC drill program at the Spur Copper Gold Project, is coming up roses, if you like. Can you just explain to us first of all, before we get into the announcement, I guess a quick overview. You are in the Lachlan Fold Belt. This is something that you've always said there's going to be a big discovery here. So just rewind, give us a brief overview of Waratah Minerals.
Yeah, sure, Kerry. We've been active on this project in the Lachlan, which is obviously the home of some world-class mining operations and deposits. Cadia's just over the hill from us, as you said, which is one of the globe's great mines and porphyry systems, gold-rich system. But you've got other big ones as well, including Cal, 14 million ounces of gold. They're the two notable ones. So, Spur Project, we've been active. We acquired it about a year ago, and we've been quite active in the last 12 months. The hypothesis going in is that, we've interpreted some historic data to represent epithermal gold mineralisation, which
What do you mean by epithermal? For my beautiful audience out there now, I know some of you are geos and you know all this, but for those that are new to this.
Yeah, no problem at all. So it's good to keep me honest to be able to explain it. So I'll see how I go. But epithermal, it refers to higher level in the crust as these porphyry systems come in. They're basically big heat engines and spitting off fluids. And as the fluids, depending on the host rock, they'll have different mineralogy, different minerals associated with the gold and copper. And as they get further away, i.e., higher up above the original porphyry system, which is the heat engine underneath the epithermal, it'll change its character. So these systems are big zoned things. So you'll hear people talk about epithermal and porphyry being connected sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's our hypothesis here. We've got a big epithermal gold field. We've got evidence for porphyry mineralisation in the district, and we're saying, we've been saying, and we're being validated with these sorts of results, that there's a connection there. That's kind of the approach. That one's connected to the other, and there's quite a lot of gold and copper associated with the entire system.
So if I dumb it down again for me and for some of my audience, the porphyry is, I love that, the heat engine. So that's where you get a lot of fluid and a lot of that mineralization, but it's probably a lot deeper. And the epithermal, if you like, throws off some of these fluids into the upper levels of the crust. So epithermal, potentially easier to find. How do you understand that it's connected to a porphyry? Because is epithermal always connected to a porphyry?
Yeah, not always, and you've also got to apply. These rocks are very, very old. The Lachlan Fold Belt, 450 million years old. So there's been a lot of sort of shuffling by tectonic forces. So it's sort of putting the puzzle back together. Okay. So it's not necessarily originally. Yes, the porphyry would have been underneath in a deep sort of setting originally, day one, if you like. Whereas now we have to be more open-minded. It's really just that there's a connection. It could be underneath, it could be adjacent to, next to, or it could be along strike. In fact, Breccia West, where we've got a diamond rig operating at the moment, where we're drilling beneath, arguably economic copper grades. There's an old intercept there that we're drilling underneath and adjacent to. 108 meters at 0.5% copper with some gold. That's at surface. So it's not necessarily that the porphyry hunt that we're doing here is a deep one and i.e. an expensive one.
Right.
We think we've cracked the code, largely that we can see there's a connection between the Breccia West mineralisation, which this announcement doesn't talk much about, but you'll see if you dig anywhere through what we've been saying. And this is the connection with high-grade gold, shallow gold, in the case of the Spur zone here.
Is your focus, because today's announcement is all about the project, the Spur project, is that where all the focus is at the moment, or are you concurrently looking at Breccia West and other parts of the project?
That's right. We've got a dual focus. So we've got, we're quite confident at the moment. So there's a dual focus, shallow gold, epithermal gold. And the Spur project is correct, but there's a Spur prospect within that. And so if you look on our maps, you'll see south of this big magnetic complex, big intrusive complex, we've got Spur next to a prospect called Dalcoath and Essex. So you can see that that's forming a trend of gold mineralisation now, which is becoming quite a significant area of rock. And we're seeing high-grade zones within it, and we're starting to understand, the controls and the geometry of those high-grade zones, which makes it easier for us to go and drill, where high-grade gold will be ultimately. That's right. So we've got a dual focus. We've got the diamond rig active right now. We're on to our second diamond hole at Breccia West as we speak.
Well, what have you been, sorry to be blunt, what have you been doing since I spoke to you in April last year? Is it all just been drilling and understanding this system? Because I guess for current shareholders and potential shareholders, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, not financial advice, ring up Peter and ask him the hard questions. But for those of them looking at it, have you been just trying to figure out via drilling what this system is and how big it could go? I guess my question really is, how much longer do you keep drilling? Like, why so much and for how much longer before you start to understand what this system is?
Yeah, so about this time last year, to answer that question, so we did some geophysics as well and high-res ground magnetics, which sort of gave us what we needed in order to be able to chase where the system was going. We saw, especially the ground magnetic data, that was a really key data set, which really gave us the ability to really see and track, most likely where the system's trending. So we've just deployed an RC rig. We're essentially mapping via the RC rig, so it's very, very rapid mapping and definition of the system. Now we've sort of skipped quite a few stages because we've got confidence. We can sort of see where this system is and the potential of it. So we've just rolled in the RC rig, high capacity track mounted rig, which is very manoeuvrable. And we can drill, to decent depths over 350 meters in some cases to test the rock and test the area as quickly as we can. We're not sort of doubling up with more geophysics. We've got enough geophysics, and now we're drilling, and we will continue to drill because we can see there's areas that are open. In this announcement, we can see there's areas open along strike.
What do you mean by open along strike? Sorry, this is my new thing, guys, to help you all understand when they get into geospeak. Open along strike means.
Perfect. No, all good, Kerry. So we drill adjacent to where we know there is gold, and then if we find gold again, then we've extended the system. So we'll typically do 50 to 100 meter step outs. In terms of moving away, from a known area. We've had a drill hole. We know there's gold here. So the system's open, and that's sort of what I'm talking about with the open along strike. So, for example, the hits that we got in this announcement at Spur South, hole 52, 4 meters at 4.6. That's significant. That's shallow gold. It's open to the south. So it's blue sky, in terms of shallow gold. The scale potential and the grade potential is sort of showing some promising signs in terms of at the Spur zone itself, where we're starting to see some really nice wide intercepts and high grade intercepts there as well.
I guess the question some people ask is, how long does it take to fully understand a project like Spur? When do you know that you've drilled enough out?
Yeah, well, we'll map the system out, and then this is all shallow drilling, very, very, it's very cost effective, cheap drilling. We've only just started diamond drilling at Breccia West, and that was really because we can see there's a historic intercept which is arguably economic from surface. So if we can just map that copper mineralisation out, that's a great, a high value target for us as well. And it'll just help form this idea if Breccia West mineralisation is connected ultimately to the Spur zone, Dalcoath-Spur-Essex zone, then which is validated the result there of Dalcoath North 7 metres at 3 grams, which we announced in this announcement. That's providing more evidence that that's the case. So we're sort of plugging the gaps, mapping out with the drilling. We're trying to get quicker turnarounds from the labs. We're using a couple of labs to try and improve turnaround times. We're going at it. This is quite an aggressive approach in terms of what you see out there, and it's being led by the drill rig. Yep.
I said right at the start that you were not that far away from Newmont's Cadia Valley project, about 5K. Is this a sort of a similar, I guess, geological? In other words, could you be onto something that Newmont's going, damn it, we should have picked that up?
Well, we're not shying away from the fact that we think there's a porphyry system here, which is driving the epithermal gold, and we're demonstrating a lot of similarities. We're demonstrating a lot of similarities with the epithermal gold in places like Cal. The Cal mine is 14 million ounces of gold in Western New South Wales. Very, very significant, endowment of gold. We can work out what the value of that is, but the Evolution are doing great. The cash flows that mine's spinning out at the moment, is really notable.
Yeah, especially at these prices, Peter. And I think, ladies, and that's one of the things we have to understand as well. Just my opinion, I think that this gold bull market is only just getting started, and what Peter and the team have got their hands on is pretty interesting. And they're starting to uncover and understand what this is. What's your biggest challenge at the moment, Peter?
Probably getting some more suitable drill rigs, but we'll ramp that up as we see fit as well, and alongside the results that are coming through. So for example, off the back of this announcement, we'll want to drill pretty quickly, chasing that high grade material, which we'll do, and we've already got permitting in place and underway to make that happen. And we'll be really nimble about it. I'm based in Orange, very close to the project with the team. We're in a position to to be nimble, make really quick decisions in the interest of the company, and turn things around as quick as we possibly can.
What about in terms of government support and for what you're doing, and I guess working within New South Wales? Is that are they supportive of what you're doing and some of the results that are coming out?
Yeah, in fact, Geological Survey New South Wales are currently doing a project on the Macquarie Arc, which is this belt of rocks that we're working in. That's the rocks that host the really big deposits. We're helping. We're sending materials that they can work on, and it's all very complimentary for us. It's free, so it's a no-brainer. But we look for any opportunity to collaborate, obviously, with anyone. Yeah. Just on that, it's all positive, all that stuff for us. So we've got a PhD student as well now working on, very detailed specifics, trying to understand the mineralisation, that the age of mineralisation as well can be important to understand in these systems. And we think we're being clever about it, but there's some really interesting rocks that we're looking at. And we're pulling the story together really quickly. In the meantime, we're drilling some great gold hits. A great time to be doing that, and keep an eye on our porphyry copper results as they come through as well.
That was going to be my next question, because I said right at the start, this is a copper gold project. How does that? Because quite often copper and gold are found together. From your point of view, Peter, is this more of a gold project or is it more of a copper project, bit of both? just to try and understand. And by the way, I like both copper and gold. I think that we're going to have a copper deficit very, very soon, and just the start of a gold bull market. Just an opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take it for fact. But how does it work? Are you looking at this more as a gold project, or a copper gold project, or a gold copper project?
Yeah, we like this project because it's more of a gold focus. There's a lot of advantages there. There's a lot of historic gold workings at surface, that we could sort of leverage our understanding of those, shallow drilling, understanding those. Cadia is famous globally, of course, but it's one of the best elements of it is it's a gold-rich porphyry system. Mm-hmm. A lot of porphyry systems in the world are copper moly systems, and there's very, very low gold. So there's sort of a couple of, basically those two baskets, those two subtypes of porphyries. The gold-rich porphyries are extra valuable, as you know. So we like that element. We're hoping the porphyry, if we find it, we're hoping it's also gold-rich. But we're really happy that there's potentially a Cal-style epithermal gold field here as well. That's proven to be super economic elsewhere in the Macquarie Arcs at Cal itself. So there's a couple of really high-value target opportunities that we're fleshing out here.
Peter, how do you find a porphyry? Because porphyries, am I correct in saying that porphyries are normally pretty deep and therefore pretty expensive and tricky little buggers because they're hard to find?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they can be. They can require a lot of deep drilling in these rocks. Not always the case because, as I said, the tectonic forces over that length of time, day one was 450 million years ago. In South America, you're looking at porphyries there. They tend not to be as messed up by tectonic forces and faults and shuffling them around and deforming them because the rocks are much younger, whereas we're dealing with older rocks in the Lachlan Fold Belt here. So it's not necessarily that it's deep. It's not necessarily that it's underneath and deep. It could be that it's off to the side, still connected. In the case of Breccia West system joining to Spur, that's what appears to be the case. We've got a historic intercept, which is not a bad porphyry copper intercept if you put that in the market these days.
Right.
So yeah, we're keen to understand that mineralisation. Where it's going, the nature of it, and these porphyries in the Lachlan Fold Belt. Ridgeway is a great example. E32 is another deposit at North Parks. They call them pencil porphyries, so they're they are a pencil-shaped entity, and they can only, Ridgeway is a couple of 100 metres across. E32 is even smaller than that. So these things can fit into small areas, but they can be really valuable. So yeah, I think that our porphyry, we've only really started to message the porphyry opportunity here more recently because we wanted to focus on the gold epithermal. That seemed to make a lot of sense to us. It was shallow. We're building up our story based on that. We're getting, notable gold hits. And now we're just starting to introduce, as we gain more confidence, we're putting some holes into prospects like Breccia West, which show porphyry copper prospects there as well.
So what's the strategy from here? I'm talking to you on the 24th of March. What's the strategy? Because I guess the question is, why should people be sitting up and taking notice of you? What's the strategy as we head further into 25?
Yeah, more drilling results, hopefully increasing that activity even further. We spread the RC drilling apart. You'll notice on the maps that we're sort of testing multiple prospects, and that's intentional strategy because you want to see what other exploration fronts we have. The way we talk about it. If we can open up more exploration fronts, then potentially you can ramp up your drilling activity. Okay. You can bring in another rig, and that helps news flow as well. Of course, we'll start to get results from the diamond drilling, which is look at the historic data. A lot of the historic exploration work in this area had been focused not too far away, but not in the area that we're looking. So, we can mess this story, like a lot of these prospects in the Lachlan Fold Belt. They've had other people work on them. Other companies, other groups. In fact, they were active in the late 60s. These porphyries were sort of talked about in this district before the discovery of Cadia. So it's got a great history, this area, and of gold mining in particular. But no, it's exciting times. We've got more results pending for those down plunge, that southerly down plunge position underneath Spur. So, hopefully look out for some more great gold results there as we continue to, de-risk our drilling as we're understanding where the high grade sits. It enables us to target drilling much more effectively towards the high grade. And we're changing our thinking, all the time. We originally thought, maybe we're dealing with a northerly plunging zone at Spur. So you get a few holes that don't come in for you,
Right.
And then we realise, okay, this is actually plunging to the south. Now we focus our drilling there. So we're learning as quick as we can. You fail fast, fail forward, but you're learning and you're trying to minimise the risk, which is a very risky, speculative game, as you know. But we're doing a lot of good work here.
Do you share any information, again, going back to 5 kilometres west of Newmont's Cadia Valley project, do you share information with them at all? Are you on friendly terms? And is there any reason to share information, I guess?
We're running our own race here. I mean, we differentiate ourselves from other juniors looking for these systems in the Lachlan. There's not too many that are not backed by majors. You can see there's a lot of groups out there that have joint ventures with majors because it can become very expensive if you're hunting for the porphyries. In our case, we're de-risked from that point of view. We've got the shallow epithermal gold. We're very excited by that. We don't want to distract the people from that's what we're focused on, but we're also gaining more confidence that we understand potentially where the porphyries are here as well. So we've started to drill diamond holes in that area at Breccia West as well.
So if I keep it really simple for people out there, it's like the epithermal is the foundation of the house, and we can put a second story or put the Christmas lights on if we find the porphyry. But this is good enough if we just focused on the epithermal and never found a porphyry. This is still an economic project as we move along. Would that be?
Yeah, the epithermal style of mineralisation, you just look for where else, especially in the belt of rocks that you're looking in, you look for where else it exists and is it being mined. So in our case, this style of epithermal mineralisation, we're very convinced there's a lot of similarities with portions of the Cal deposit, and that is a local, in the Lachlan Fold Belt, a very economic gold operation. I'm not saying we've got that, but you can start to point to the similarities. There's 14 million ounces total gold endowment at Cal. So how big is this? I don't know. We need to do the work, but how big could it be? Then you've got something you can point to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Great announcement out today. That Spur project, it's epithermal, potential upside, finding a porphyry as they go along. But check them out. ASX code, as I said, is WTM. All the announcements are on their website. And then if you've got another question, ring up Peter and ask him what you think. But before I go, just a reminder that the Gold Coast Gold Conference will take place on the 15th and 16th of April, which is coming up next month, here up on the Gold Coast. And the 13th to the 15th of October, we'll be bringing everybody together down in Sydney at Crown. So go to goldevents.com.au, check it all out. We hope to see you all there. We love bringing the community together. But Peter Duerden from Waratah Minerals, great to have you back on the program. Let's not leave it for a whole year next time.
Definitely, Gary. Good to see you.
Good to see you.